Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Whisper in silence. Silence is key. I'm going to say words that have no meaning because I just no idea. That sounds pretty retarded. Well, I am your host, Brett Bowman. Welcome into the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. This is episode 53. What to start with real quick? Let's see here. If this is your first time listening to the show, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Each week we travel to a new state virtually and talk to new guests from that state. We get to learn what it's like to hunt there. We do a live show Monday through Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. starting in May. Right now we're still doing Monday through Thursday. Next month we're switching over to Monday through Wednesday only. Excuse me on that. If you ever want to pop into the show and have a guest, if you have a hop on the show and have a question for the guest, have a question for us, or just want to come on and share a quick story with the guest, just send me a message at 269-993-3653 and I'll send you the information that you need to do. As of right now, though, it's just me. I know the guest that we had tonight, so many names are running through my brain right now. I can't even. Oh, come on. What is his name? I'm drawing up. Todd. I knew it was Todd. I didn't say it. I mean, it's kind of a good thing because he's a Michigan fan. I don't know. After tonight, I don't know if I'll ever want to have another Michigan fan on the show again. But I kid. I just kid. If it's not coming up on, I have noticed that some reason it's not going through our X account. I don't know what's going on with that. Tonight is the second night it's happened. Apologize for that. I do have a question, though, in the comments. What's my favorite bow? Let's see here. My favorite bow would have to probably be that I've personally shot. I'm assuming that's the question. I'd say my favorite bow. That is a good question. I did have a Bear BR33. I did love that bow. I think it's obviously you can't go wrong with any type of Bear product. It's amazing bows. Obviously Fred Bear and all that bloodline, that's just amazing. I'd have to probably say that one. That one was my favorite, only because it was just smooth on a draw cycle. Everything was just great about it. And yeah, I don't think you could even go wrong with any type of Bear bow, though. I mean, obviously, I'm shooting Matthews bows. I'm going to be getting the Matthews Phase 4 bow, so I'm looking forward to that. So that might change, though. I shot it a couple of times before I bought it, obviously. But I had a lot more time with the Bear BR33 bow, and I just had more repetitions behind it. I'm not saying that the Phase 4 could take over my favorite bow. Yeah. If you have any more questions, anyone that's out there watching the show, I swear, if X, Twitter, whatever, I'm just going to ban it because this is just stupid. I don't know why. I keep saying send data. I don't know what the heck that means. It's not streaming through there. So, second night in a row, I'm getting tired of it. You got to love technology. If anyone else has a question for the show, but then again, you can always pop on. I did believe Sean. I don't know if he might be popping in for tonight. If not, we might make it a quick pro quo type. I don't know. That sounded weird. Quick show tonight. I did have a chance to meet Todd, though. I'll say this though. I don't know if he said he might be running late only because he had some family stuff with. I think he had practice or something with his family, and it's obviously they're in Iowa, so they're an hour behind us here in Michigan. So he might pop on here a little later. I did email him. I haven't heard back. If anything, we'll just reschedule for Todd. If you have a chance, check out his Facebook page, Todd Mayer. I mean, this guy, he has put the hammer down on some giant bucks. I cannot believe it. Looking through it, it's like, I granted he is in a state where you're a land of giants. I mean, that's tonight's show title. He's just put the hammer down on so many bucks. It's just, I really want to know what he's doing out there. I see he does a lot of controlled burns, a lot of cedar thicket areas. So I think the property that he was managing on the photos I was looking at and getting to talk to him, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's from Michigan. So him and I had a good conversation about that. He's from my area, basically right down the road, kind of. But then I found out that he was a Michigan fan. I wish I think I have a trombone thing here. Oh, that was not the one I wanted. I wanted the sad button. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, I was going to tell Todd tonight, but now I feel like I kind of cursed ourselves here, only because I was joking what I was going to say. No. I'm just going to sit here and let's figure out what else we want to talk about. I mean, heck, man, live show. Anyone wants to come on the show, send me a message. Like I said, let's see what else we got here. No, I don't want to be in this right now. Okay, let's see here. Yep, no email yet. Maybe something popped up, so you never know. Oh no, I do have somebody in the virtual waiting room. I don't know if I want to cry or be happy or cry happy with all of us in a good, sad way. So, you know what? You wait there. You deserve this, okay? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to give it a good second, okay? Hang on. Just wait. Hang on. There we go. Oh, hello, Sean.
Well, hello, Brett.
Oh, man. You know, I'm not going to air some stuff on air, but you suck at fucking texting. Excuse my French.
Well, can't text and drive at the same time. It's kind of illegal.
I know. Well, Sean, how are you today? You have a good day so far, though? I know today was your day off.
Well, no, I'm on vacation.
Hence, day off.
Yeah. I went and played softball with a bunch of Van Buren County sheriffs. So it was fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
Oh, that email that went out?
Correct.
Oh, you're a part of that?
Correct.
I was about to join that, but I wasn't 100% sure if I should or not. Only because I'm doing this. We're doing this stuff, but yeah. Well, hey, you know what, Sean? I know we said we wouldn't. We'd wait at a later time, but if it's just going to be us, I'm willing to go down some rabbit holes tonight.
You know what? I think we've worked out a lot of kinks and meetings and all that stuff between us, and I think it's time to pull the rabbit out of that hole.
And
you know what? Why don't you find something that we can get a drum roll or something we can tell everybody?
I don't know if I have a drum roll on this thing, bro.
Man, I don't know.
I'd have to look. Let's look here. Let's see if we have a drum roll on my soundboard.
Oh, man.
Sadly, I do not. But I got this, though. No. I got that. I'm sad that I don't have it.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. That's this thing that we're, for our viewers, this is more of not a sad thing. This is the next upcoming of Whitetail Advantage. I'm hoping that viewers will see it. Oh, man.
I do. Hey, do you see what's happening over here? I think he's trying to get in.
Yeah, so do I.
So we might have to put that rabbit back in the freaking hole.
Yeah, we're going to have to put that rabbit back in the hole.
Let's let him in and let's see if it's working correctly. It's kind of... Todd, you there? He might have some technical difficulties. I know when we had our meet and greet, he was having some technical difficulties. He had to get his wife involved in here.
Yeah. Oh, we got two.
Let's put... All right, let's see here. You got
Brett, so we got a viewer. Let's put this up right now. What would you say your favorite bow is for Exit 96?
Oh, yeah, I already answered that.
Oh, well, news to me, but we can answer again, can't we, for Exit 96? What's a better bow than what you answered?
I said Bear BR3. That's the first bow I said. But then I did say that I was getting the Phase 4 bow coming here soon. No, I didn't get that. Yeah, Don, there we go. Matthews guy right there.
Yeah, there's a Matthews.
And then real quick, I know Don, I think he called me. And I did. I'm sorry if I missed your phone call, Don. I'll call you. I'll talk to you later. I was doing some family time when you called. But no, I just love the Matthews now. I mean, I think a Bear bow, in my opinion, is... Our guest tonight is texting me. I'm not saying a Bear bow is for like kids, but I know. I mean, like I said, you can't go wrong with a bear bow. I mean, it sounds weird saying a bear.
We got him. Let's give him a pause. Let's get him in here.
All right,
I think we got it worked out.
There we go. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Finally.
It's going. How you doing, sir?
Oh, man, I'm so sorry. I've been trying to get in, and it kept telling me, like, I couldn't get in, and I'm not the most tech-savvy person in the world. I put my fancy headphones on and everything, so, yeah. But I'm here, and I'm ready to talk, whitetails. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds amazing. So,
I got my
there we go. There we go.
Hail, buddy.
You know what? I said this when you guys weren't here. I was like, this is going to be the one and only time I have a Michigan fan on. Because if I find out Michigan guest coming on the show, I'm just going to not let them come on anymore.
I mean, I would blame you too, because I'm assuming you're a Spartan fan. So I don't blame you as much as I just feel bad for you.
No, you would never guess the team unless you knew about me. I am an Oregon Ducks fan.
Hey, you know what? I'm excited about the Oregon Ducks. I'm going to try to get some better lighting so I get some of these big giant whitetails in the background. Hey, I'm excited for the Oregon Ducks and for that light sucks. And we're really going to see how they can stand those November games when it's freezing cold outside.
Real quick, two things on that. Your connection's a little wonky, and two, does people think in the Northwest that it doesn't get cold and snow up there? They think it's like la and sunshine. No, it snows there in Oregon, people.
Well, Oregon, yes, but when you talk about UCLA and USC, they're going to struggle.
Okay, yeah, you got those two teams.
Those teams are going to struggle. That's right. But that's okay. So that's okay. So what's up, guys? How's your Wednesday going?
Oh, it's going fantastic for us. I know Sean had a good day. He started his vacation.
Yes, I did.
That sounds great, man. I'd love to be on vacation right now chasing walleyes, but I'm not. But that's okay. That's okay.
You know, Brett, I know this is all for Todd, for him to talk. And I know we were thinking about pulling that rabbit out hole, but I think with Todd being on here, I think we should, tell our viewers the exciting news with Todd. I think that would be awesome with Todd.
I like exciting news.
So you want to say it, Brett, or you want me to say it?
You know what, Sean? I'll give you that privilege. You can have that honor. I mean,
so gentlemen, my viewers, my listeners, Todd, Whitetail Advantage has its own website.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yep. If you want to go to whitetailadvantage.com, you can view all our videos, all our backgrounds. If you got any questions, want to get on the show, everything, you can contact us. You can send us a message. We're really excited about it. We're taking Whitetail Advantage to the next level.
That's awesome, man. Good for you guys. Good for you.
thanks, brother.
Well,
And
Todd, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? What makes Todd?
What makes me so I live in central Iowa. Moved here in 2013, so I've been here for about 10 years. I'm actually graduated high school from Three Rivers, Michigan. Did a lot of hunting out in Michigan, obviously. My family's still living out there. Went to college. And I wanted to go to college to be a police officer, so I thought. And I just didn't. It really wasn't something for me, There was just something pulling me away from Michigan. And at the time, it was duck and goose hunting. I used to do a lot of it. Used to love competition calling, and really, really enjoyed that. So I decided to move out to North Dakota. Lived out there for about 5 years. And that's where I found my career. I currently work for a John Deere dealership. I started out as a service technician, mobile service technician, driving around the countryside, fixing John Deere equipment, combines, tractors, things like that. And I've been doing that for about 15 years. And then, a little under 2 years ago, I actually moved into a management role. So now I sit behind a desk and wear a polo shirt, get yelled at by customers, the good life. So when I left Michigan, and I had this idea that I just wanted to chase ducks and geese, and man, I had a great time doing it. I met some great people doing it. I had a group of guys that I hunted with, and, we had all the decoys and the blinds, and man, we had a great time living in North Dakota. North Dakota is the same in the waterfowl world as what Iowa is to the whitetail world, right? It's the best of the best. So, like I said, I did that for a few years, and I just couldn't. I enjoyed it, but I tell you what, I've been under huge clouds of, mallards coming in. I've seen snow geese drop from 6 miles in the air, it looked like, and drop into a spread, and I've shot them. But here's the deal: when you shoot one duck, you can't ever shoot a different duck. It's the same thing. I wanted more, and so I just decided I want to get back into whitetail hunting, get back kind of where my roots were and stuff. And fortunately for what I do for a living, it's a very high demand job. So I actually got on John Deere's website, decided I wanted to move to Iowa to chase whitetails again. That's what I saw on TV, and that's what all the big guys were doing. Everybody was shooting big deer. There's, as everybody knows, there's 170-inch deer behind every tree in Iowa. And so I literally got on John Deere's website, and I found, I typed in John Deere dealerships in Southern Iowa, and I clicked on one, called them up. They ended up flying me out there, interviewed, took the job. And that was, like I say, 10 years ago. And since then, lived here, just chased. I have not shot a duck or a goose since I moved here. I've only shot a couple turkeys, but I spend a lot of my time just hunting whitetails and just preparing for them. I do a lot of habitat work. I got a good buddy who actually owns a habitat company, so I help him out, kind of doing jobs like that. But then also my family owns a small farm, so we do that. I spend a lot of time planting food plots, doing a lot of TSI work, planting switchgrass, fruit trees, getting grain plots ready. I mean, just all of the stuff, and so really anymore, I just eat, sleep, and breathe whitetails, and I enjoy shooting them. I mean, I got a lot of deer on the wall. I really enjoy shooting them, but man, I just really enjoy the art of finding a mature buck and getting him shot, really enjoy it.
So you were talking about the plots and the food, and you
Yeah.
work for John Deere tractor.
Yeah.
What is your most brand that you like to use when you plot and do all that, get it ready for deer season?
So you're asking me like equipment wise?
Yeah, like what kind of plotting or what kind of food do you use for your deer?
Yeah. So as far as what type of food, I shoot a lot of deer out of clover plots, a lot of clover stuff. I plant a lot of brassicas. And then late season food is king. So the coolest thing about Iowa is, for one, it's only a $2 state. Unless you're a landowner, you can actually kill a third buck. But as a $2 state, you can only shoot one deer with a gun. So you have to pick your gun season. So as an Iowa resident, you can either pick early muzzleloader, you can pick, we have 2 shotgun seasons, and then late muzzleloader. I always choose late muzzleloader. I really want that cold weather. So for late season, I'm always going after the grains. I'm always going after the soybeans or the corn. This year, I'm actually on a soybean rotation on our farm. Last year, I planted corn. So, the buddy of mine who I said that I help him out, he also plants my grain plots. I do all my small stuff, my clovers and brassicas and switchgrasses and things like that. But the grain plots he plants, he's got a bigger tractor and a planter and stuff like that. So.
All right. So before you do any of your hunting, do you do anything with like trail cams, like kind of monitor your areas and all that stuff before you decide to, hey, this is where I want to hunt?
Yeah. So I do a lot of stuff. I view a lot of stuff on aerials, obviously, when I'm picking farms out. And like if I get a new permission piece, I actually just picked up a really nice farm this year. I'm pretty excited about it. So the first thing I do is, I get that permission and immediately I go to my aerials. I try to figure out, okay, this is what it's looked like in the past, right? Because a lot of times we have here in Iowa, we have what's called the Iowa Geographical Map Server. And you can literally see aerials from every year. And then they typically update it every year, but sometimes every 2 years. So you can kind of get on, you can zoom in just like on Google Maps and you can see like deer trails, things like that, especially in like CRPs and tall grasses and whatnot. And so, no, my wife is shining a flashlight in my face because I don't know why. Yeah, but yeah, she's something. She puts up with me, and that's not easy to do. So she deserves an award for that. Yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, I mean, scouting is a big thing, right? So I like to figure out where I'm going to walk by my aerials, and then I like to get my boots on the ground. I like to find the trails. I'm a pretty aggressive hunter. I do believe that a deer lives and dies by their nose, except for in Iowa, we get the entire month of November for deer in bow season. So here you get to really figure out what a deer actually is going to act like, or what they should act like in their real life. Where in Michigan, the deer walk around looking in trees. I mean, I remember that it's a totally different ball game. Here our deer get to act like normal animals. So, I get aggressive because, to be honest with you, if I bump a deer, I'll just go find another one, shoot it, but so, I like to get the boots on the ground. I like to find out where deer are bedding. And then like during the rut, I will hunt right next to that. I won't necessarily go right in it because typically it's hard to get out. But I like to get real close. Other than it, if I'm not hunting the rut, I'm hunting over food. End of story. So, I like to find my deer with trail cameras. We'll start out here in Iowa. We are a bait state. As far as we can run cameras over mineral and bait and things like that. We can't hunt over it, but we can run our cameras over it. So I like to turn on, I run a lot of cell cams, which we can go into cell cams too. I have this theory about them. But I like to find deer. I will put a cell camera over mineral. I'm thinking about changing that, and I can explain that as well. But I will find. I'll find what deer are living in the immediate area with mineral, because I'll use some sort of we can use some regular old mineral or some corn, but I'll try to add some attractant type stuff, not like deer cane or anything like that, but like. I'm not big on names of anything, but Analogics makes some stuff that's very potent smelling, and I believe that it brings in deer from around the area, especially if you can get in lowland. So deer will go here. So the whole state of Iowa, I believe there's only 8% of the state is in trees. Might even be lower than that. Might be 6%. So summertime deer are very different animals, right? Very different creatures. So they're not in the high ground. They're in the low ground. Where it's cooler, right? It's the Midwest. It gets really hot. So they like to get by those creeks and those streams, and that's where they go. So I'll try to find them in the summer that way. I'll try to, even if I know those deer are going to leave, because deer do have fall ranges. I will try to find them and figure out, okay, is there an animal I want to hunt? Just because there's not during the summer doesn't mean I'm not going to hunt that area. But so yeah, I do a lot of inventory with trail cameras. My phone I have to turn my phone on silent at night, or else that thing starts vibrating. It almost levitates in a way. So
I know there was one time I was sitting at work, and it was like, I think the 2 days before Halloween, and my phone, like every 5 seconds, beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
I literally got to the point, because I have my Apple Watch on my wrist. I had to take it off, and I threw it against the office, and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "My freaking phone won't stop blowing up." I looked, and I was like, "Oh, it's just Tacticam sending me news alerts that I'm getting photos of deer." But then, what really pissed me off though, ended up being freaking squirrels just running around in circles, chasing each other.
Yep, the old squirrel rut. Yep. It's bad, But you guys want to talk about trail cameras? Because I got some theories. A buddy of mine and I have some theories about trail cameras.
We can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. So I run. I do run 2 different kinds of cell cameras. I run a Spartan cell camera and I run a Tacticam cell camera. Several of each. So I have physically seen deer react to cell cameras. I have watched it with my own eyes over like a food plot. When a deer comes in, they will stare that thing down, but yet they'll go rub on a tree that has a regular camera on it, and I just always thought like, oh, they just saw it, things like that. Well, then once you do it in the wintertime, when you're hunting over a food plot, like we hunt typically, like some of my bigger late season plots are 3 to 4 acres of standing corn or that I've mowed, or standing soybeans or something. So, when it gets cold, those deer will pack in there. It's nothing. You can have, depending on the farm and the area. I mean, you can have a sit where you might see 5 deer. You might see 100. Depending on how cold and how much snow and how much food's in the immediate area. So you really want to know how deer react to cell cam or to trail cameras in general. Get a bunch of trail cameras on a food like that and see how they act. And I can tell you that without a doubt, 100%, deer can sense cell cameras. I have seen it, and I have documented it, and I have seen it time and time again. And I've seen it on trail camera. And then I've seen it. I hunted a deer, this deer right here. Yeah, that deer right there, 173-inch deer right there. I hunted him. In 2021, he was actually a 205-inch deer. I hunted him hard. It was him or nothing. Well, it ended up being nothing. But I had him on cell cam, and he you could see that it was just a weird reaction to it. What I found is, so that cell camera actually quit working. So so strike number one against a cell camera, right, is when they quit working, they're useless, right? You might as well have a rock up on a tree because it ain't taking a picture. You have a cell camera for a reason, because we typically put them in spots that we don't want to go, right? So if it quits working, what do? Now you got to go in there and you got to walk through your bedding area to go get this stupid trail camera. It's a terrible idea. I am saying that with full disclosure that I still run a lot of cell cameras, but mainly it's because I got them, right. But so this deer here, when he was big, a mondo deer, his one side, it was a 108-inch side. I watched him look at that camera in a picture. And then the next picture, I watched him he had that kind of side eye look to him. And then the next picture, he was gone. From that moment in time, every time he walked past that area, he's like a camera. Didn't have a camera. So, but it was just by that area, he would look at that. There was nothing there at all anymore. And he would look at that exact spot. There was no reason for him to look there other than something at some point was there and it freaked him out. So I have this running theory that they have this sense, everybody who whitetail hunts know that a lot of deer stay alive because of their senses, right? They don't know we're up in a tree, like we wear awesome camouflage nowadays and our bows are super quiet. And, we have ozone generators and we play the wind. Hunters are just better now, but yet they still know that we're there, right? They have these senses, and I'm telling you, deer can pick up on cell cameras. And so we proved this point with a buddy of mine ran the new Cuddy Link system. I don't have it. He's got it. He was watching deer avoid his cell camera and walk in front of the Cuddy Link, because the Cuddy Link is run off of must be a different type of wavelength, we'll call it. I don't know what that stuff's called. But, so it got to the point to where he was like, dude, watch this. And we could physically watch animals walk around those cell cameras, completely avoid them. And on his Cuddy Link, he would have picture after picture after picture. And on his cell cameras, he might get 2 pictures a night. It was like, holy cow, light bulb thing. So, this is my theory. Now, do I think a lot of cell cameras kill deer? I do. I think cell cameras are really great for a lot of things. And I think that the reason that we're killing so many 200s now, in general, is because of cell cameras. But I think a lot of it is just because we know that they're there. We're getting a picture of a deer that might show up, every year on my farm in November. I'll get bucks that might be there for 3 days, and that's it. Never see them again. They won't come back to the food later on. Who knows? They must have come from 6 miles away. I have no idea. But they just come there looking for the girls, So, they get those pictures. Somebody gets a picture. Well, if you get a picture of a giant deer, well, you're going to go hunt. Well, there's a good chance you might kill him, especially that time of year. So, I have this, like I said, I have this running theory that there is a problem with cell cameras, that deer can sense them. And I think that I personally would like to see cell cameras get banned as much as I love them. You going to bed? See you, buddy. I just deer. Here's the other thing. So when cell cameras first came out, right? Not everybody had them, right? Cell cameras used to be $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're $99. So they're the same price as a regular camera. So everybody has them. Every single person who has a trail camera has a cell camera. Mm. Everybody, and so I think we're better hunters in that we have better equipment, right? We can analyze things better, right? So like I suffered really bad from target panic. It was so bad I almost wanted to give up shooting a bow. But I had this wonderful thing called YouTube that I went on there and I followed this 12-step process broke my target panic. I mean, it took me a lot of months to do it. But, you know, I mean, if I didn't have that, if I didn't have the internet to help me out there, you know, would I have ever broken it? I don't know. I mean, I like to think I would have, but I had it pretty bad. And so I think we're better hunters in the fact that we have better technology, right? I mean, you know, I just ordered a new bow, and that bow shoots 348 feet per second. I mean, that's pretty fast. You know, I mean, we're shooting 2.5 and 3 inch broadheads, you know, at 310 feet per second nowadays. That's pretty wild. You know, we have better camouflage, so we can stay in the tree longer. And stay back. You know, I mean, we have just all sorts of our systems now are better. You know, we have these you know, I have climbing sticks that weigh 4 pounds. You know, I can pack them longer. I can go deeper. So I think we're better hunters in the fact that we have better equipment. But I also think that we're worse hunters because we've lost our woodsmanship. You know, do you have to know how to read sign anymore? No, just hang a trail camera, you know, or whatever you want to fill that in with. I don't have to be as good because of this. So right. I can get off and I can go on a rant here.
Oh, you're
and
good.
I don't mean to do that, but you know, it just so being here, growing up in Michigan and hunting the whitetails in Michigan, you know, people don't know how hard it really is to shoot. Let's even say a Pope and young whitetail in the state of Michigan. It's tough. And it's tough to consistently do it for sure. But we also didn't have, you know, back then, I didn't have the technology way back then, you know, that we have now. You know, here in Iowa, it's not that hard to shoot a nice deer. You know, I mean, there's more of them.
It takes time and patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think technology is the rise and fall of society, and I think it's also hurting the same thing with hunting. It's helping out hunters in a lot of ways, but it's also you're kind of taking the lazy way out. I mean, when it comes to cell cameras itself, I like to put those in really secluded, deep parts of the woods where it's like I don't want to go in there, so I want to see what's actually in there and let that kind of work for me. So I do the scout and I'll do that part, and I kind of let the camera at that point do the work for me.
Yeah,
and I'll put like my SD cameras on like a main trail that I walk around in the woods, so that my scent gets around out there, gets used to it. The deer get used to me and my smell. I mean, my scent. So I leave those right there, so they're quick and accessible. So I don't have to go deep in these bedding areas, if you would call it those, and the deep parts of the woods. That's what I generally do with my cell cameras and cameras in general.
I mean, you talk about technology, and you know, technology is also, and once again, this is a whole nother rant, you know, but technology is also giving a false representation of really what hunting is. You know, I mean, I can still remember, you know, shooting my very first buck. I mean, it was some little tiny, you know, little fork horn, whatever the heck it was. Man, I thought that I was Bill Jordan. I didn't know I was the best hunter in the world when I killed that thing. But now, you know, you look at some of I earned my stripes, right? I'm going to be 40 years old next month. I've shot a lot of deer in my life. And I didn't start off by shooting 180 inch deer, right? I've never shot a 180 inch deer. But you know, I started off by, you know, I shot this fork horn, and the next thing I know, I shot a 6-point. And, you know, I mean, I walked up the ranks to be able to say, yeah, I'm only going to shoot 5.5-year-old deer. Well, but I'm also okay eating a tag. But nowadays, you know, you get on social media and these poor kids who are 10 and 12 years old, and they like all these pages, and there is great information on the internet, but they're like, oh, well, that's all there is you know, you can either kill a 170 inch deer or nothing. If you don't kill one, then you're a bad hunter, or you don't want to post it. I just, you know, I mean, I've fallen victim to it myself. I mean, I've sat there and I've passed deer. I mean, I passed a deer 3 years ago now. I mean, he was every bit of 165 inches. I passed him at 4 yards on the third day of the season. And I watched him walk away, and I was like, wow, okay. Hopefully I made the right choice. I never saw that deer again. That deer got shot or hit by a car. And I mean, and he was a big deer. I mean, he's a big 6x5, really nice deer. And but you know, I was like, oh, well, what are people going to think? I've gotten away from that since then. I went through a little portion of that, but you know, it's just tough. It's really hard to kill a big deer. It's really hard to kill. I mean, in some states, in Michigan, it's really hard to kill a 3-year-old.
In Michigan, it's hard to do anything in the hunting world, man.
Yeah.
But I do have a guest here, though, Todd, that does want to hop in with us, if that's okay.
Yeah.
His name's Don. Get him in here real quick, and then we'll have him join the show, okay?
Let's give him applause, Brett. Oh.
Yeah, of course. Hey, Don. Can you hear us?
How's it going, Don? How you doing?
Can y'all hear me?
Oh, we can hear you fine.
Good. Okay.
Thanks for wanting to come on the show with us.
Kentucky.
Oh, in Kentucky in the same virtual room.
Uh-oh.
Do we have a debate, maybe?
Where are you?
What do you guys want to debate? You can ask my wife. I love to argue. So
Debate corner.
Whoa.
Kentucky versus Iowa, land of the giants, and I know there's a nickname for Kentucky.
Who knows what that name is? There's tons.
They're good at basketball.
Yeah. Well, you know, our coach just left. You know that.
Did that officially happen?
I think it did.
Yeah. He finalized a 5-year, $70 million deal with Arkansas, only because he got tired of Kentucky. He couldn't do anything there. And then his best friend is Tyson, the owner of the frozen food product.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a debate between the two of you. I know Todd's already explained it. Don, maybe you can put it in. Between the two of you guys' state, who do you think's got the best deer, the biggest deer?
I mean,
Iowa.
Yeah. So here's what I'll tell you about. And I mean, so in my line of work, you know, when I used to work in the corner of some guy's shed, and I mean lots, unbelievable amounts. But
that's in a lot of places too. But Iowa, I would think that's probably, yeah. There's a lot of big deer. Iowa just has really. They're real smart about their seasons. You know, they really understand keeping guns out of the rut's a big deal. It is, and that's the worst thing I think about Kentucky is right. I mean, the 2 weeks of gun season they put right in the middle of November. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's that plus all of our out-of-state hunters. You can get tags to come to Kentucky. I think like $200.
Yeah.
We have a lot of out-of-state hunters.
Yeah. Iowa should not be as good as it is. I mean, so being the fact that I'm from Michigan, I'm here to tell you that the best whitetail habitat in the entire world lies in the state of Michigan. I've seen it. I've hunted it.
Yeah.
It is. I don't care about their deer. They certainly don't. They certainly don't. You know, with that, they can't get to the age where they can get to here.
Well, I understand that completely. I don't know if you would call it being, what would you call that? Being controversial, or I think that every hunter might want to do things a little bit different. I try my best not to judge.
Yep.
What people do, how big a deer they kill. I try my, as long as you're, all right, I should rephrase that. As long as you're a bow hunter, that's kind of the thing I think of.
Yeah. Or a cross gun hunter, you mean?
Or I don't really. That's
I'm controversial when it comes to crossbows.
Right. I'm not going to downplay it. If you can, everyone still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I really don't want to say the wrong thing here because I love everyone in the hunting. I love everything about it.
Don, I'll stop you there. We don't care what anybody thinks about this show. If people don't like what we have to say here, you have your opinion. You can say it if you feel comfortable saying it.
Well, I mean, I think personally, if you're an able-bodied male or female, I feel like if you can draw a bow to 40 to 50 pounds, I think you should try to hunt with a bow. I'm not taking anything away from a gun hunter. I grew up hunting guns, but I'm just saying in general, I don't think that someone should just go hunt with a crossbow just to use that as a killing weapon. I think that if you want to do a bow hunting sport, you should probably try to hunt with a compound bow or a longbow, whatever you choose.
I did see Todd. I think he's having technical difficulties because he's kind of in and out right there towards the end of it.
Yeah, I see that on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you 100%. I think if you are physically able, I mean, anyone that's seen a couple of the episodes, one of the part-time hosts that we call him the homeless hobbit here, though.
Yeah.
Jason, he shoots a compound, and let's see if he gets it. He shoots a compound bow. Sean, you work on that. He shoots a compound, and I make fun of him all the time for it because I think he's perfectly able to draw back a bow. Right. I don't know if he has that bow actually, but I think I agree with you 100%. The freaking noise is starting to.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how people want to classify it. I mean, I could debate all day long with people, but I don't want to tell them how to hunt. I don't want to tell them what to do. And I most certainly wouldn't like anyone to tell me. I would love lessons, but not to tell me how to do something or what weapon to use. So I try not to really stick my nose out there too much for that.
Oh, I just make fun of them for it. But if that's what they want to do, go for you.
Right.
I like people out in the woods, don't get me wrong. And just to see people enjoying the outdoors, enjoying the hunting,
Correct.
It's a dying thing. And don't get me wrong when I say this. If that's what you want to go do, great for you. Am I going to make fun of you for it? Then you better have a strong backbone in yourself. Because, I mean, come on.
Right.
Everyone makes fun of each other in some way. You just got to be able to stick up for yourself, too. But at the end of the day, it's just us harassing giving each other hay, stuff like that. We're just trying to make some fun out of it.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I make fun of my dad for it. I mean, heck, granted, he has an excuse. He does have a bad shoulder, though.
Right.
So I give him that.
My dad does too. Yeah.
But at least he doesn't shoot with a gun. Because in our family, we don't hunt with the guns. So he modified it to an art compound. Granted, like I said, I still make fun of him for it. But Don, I did have a quick question though, because I did find out from talking to Luke yesterday on the show, their archery season runs through basically October 1st all the way through the first weekend of December. Is that kind of?
Hey, I'm back.
Who's archery season?
Oh, Todd, it's finally there.
Well, it was weird.
Who's archery season?
Just got out of it.
Don, that archery season there in Iowa that I found out that their archery season doesn't run to the rut.
No, I have a good friend, my friend Dr. Miller. He has property he actually has residency there also. And he hunts Iowa a lot, and I've learned quite a bit from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're pretty close friends. So.
Todd, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
There he is.
I don't know where we lost you last.
Yes or no?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go through.
We'll just make it up as we go.
Exactly.
Well, Todd,
We paid it though.
Don had a good idea. What is your opinion on regular compound or a crossbow? People using certain ones.
So here's the deal: my dad shoots a crossbow, but he can physically not pull a compound bow back. He hunted with a compound bow forever. I mean, way back when we used to shoot big giant steel or aluminum arrows and 95-pound bows. I mean, that's what I was used to. He would still shoot a compound to this day if he could draw one back. Now, what I don't like is people. It's a crutch, right? It's an excuse to say, oh, well, I can, at least I'm still hunting or something. But you look at like some of these Raven crossbows, and Raven, just so you know, is a huge lobbyist in a lot of these states. Raven spends millions upon millions of dollars trying to get crossbow seasons legalized in all these states. Raven has spent a pile of money in the state of Iowa to try to get them during the seasons. A good friend of mine is a real big political guy here with Iowa and is trying to make sure that we keep it this way. But, the way that I feel about it is and unlike Dan, it's Don. I'm sorry. Don. That's my, well, I mean, we're still a better football team. So unlike Don, like I'm okay being controversial because I believe that, it's okay if you don't agree with somebody. Like, it's okay. Like we live in a world where it's not okay, right? But it is okay. It's okay if you don't agree with me. But the way that I feel about it is if you want to bow hunt anything, you should be shooting. You should be shooting a vertical bow until you can't, right? So if you're an older person, you can't draw back a bow. Ethically, you got to be. I shot my first deer when I was 12 years old with a bow, and I was shooting 42 pounds, complete pass through. If you can't shoot 40 pounds, especially with the bows we have nowadays, I understand that. I totally get that. But some of these states, I mean, they don't understand what they're doing. I realize that they're recruiting hunters and things like that. We can go into hunter recruitment because I have an interesting theory. I have an interesting thought on hunter recruitment myself. But they're trying to get more people. Well, the only reason these states are trying to do that is they're trying to sell more licenses. Let's be real. They're not trying to introduce people into this game and into this sport that, you and I love and that we're super passionate about. They're just trying to sell more licenses. The state doesn't care. And that's across the board.
Money.
So 100%, and they want all these hunters to come in. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't want any more hunters to come in. It's hard enough to find a piece of ground to hunt, and I know that that's maybe not the right thing to say. And that's maybe not, well, how do we keep this tradition going? I understand all that, but we're not going to keep it going if nobody's got a place to hunt.
Right.
I mean, I know some of these, I know leases here in Iowa that are going for $55 an acre. Who's paying that kind of cash? Right. I mean, you're talking people paying $5,000 to hunt 100 acres. I mean, that's serious coin.
Kentucky's the same way. You're looking at right around the same amount of money in Kentucky. It's getting way up there as far as leasing ground to hunt. And I mean, that's with you. That's with nothing. I mean, you're the one that has to still go in there with permission, and you have to spend your money to your gas, your tractor, your food plots, and then plus pay just to have the ground. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's
the same thing.
Yeah, and it's tough, and that's why I say, like that's a controversial thing to talk about, right? Like, I understand that we need, we also need numbers because we got to pay our DNR agents and we got to pay our conservation organizations. I totally understand that, but all that stuff is going to go away. Right now in Iowa, what they're trying to do is they're trying to allow, like, if you own land here, they're trying to allow you to be able to give a tag to somebody from out of state. Well, yeah, it sucks because like my family, my parents, my dad still hunts. He lives in Michigan. He still has to wait 5 years to be able to draw a tag to hunt. And he owns land in Iowa. But guess what? He bought it knowing that.
Yep.
And that's and that's the reason why the state that I live in is good. Some of these others, I own there. I should, I pay taxes there. I should be able to hunt there wherever I want. Well, great. If it is, you wouldn't own. If it was like that, you wouldn't own land here.
Right.
Because if it was like that, the land would be $25,000 an acre for junk rec ground. It's already climbed exponentially. So sorry, I got off on a little bit of a tangent there. But
well, what do you do to stop it though? That's what's the right thing? What do you do to stop it? That, like you just said, everything's growing so fast and so much money, and what do you do to stop it?
I don't have that answer. I mean, like either. I said, there's a guy here in the state of Iowa. He's actually from the state of Michigan as well. I didn't know him before I moved here, but he's a big in the hunt, not necessarily in the industry, but he goes to our Capitol Hill here, and he fights for hunters' rights. Right. And I think that's what we do is, I think hunters, they all want everything, right? We all want our state to be the best, but what are we doing about it? Don, let me ask you a question. What are you doing about it? And I'm not attacking you because I'm not doing much either, but what's my dad who lives in Michigan? What's he doing about it? Right. Nothing. He's shooting 6 points and then complaining that people are shooting small bucks. That's what he's doing.
What can you do about it?
Yeah. Well, I to be honest with you, I think we got to start to have a voice. That's it. We got, everybody needs to understand that politicians do still work for us.
That's right.
Technically that's how it's designed to be, right?
It's designed to be, but it ain't going that way.
You're 100% right. And we don't want to turn this into a political conversation either, because boy, we're going to be here all night. I mean, we're going to have to get some beers and stuff.
It's very true, though.
Yeah, really, we have to be the voice, and somebody has to step up, and somebody has to walk up there and tell the Congress people in our state that, hey, we don't agree with that. Like we don't want, I don't want Iowa to be an open border state. I don't want that. I want them to, maybe open border state is not how I should have worded that, but I don't want to be over the counter state. Making people wait 5 years, but the reason that they're waiting 5 years is because there's a hell of a good chance that you're going to run into 160 plus inch deer on public land here in Iowa. Really good chance. I've seen many 200 inch deer come off of public land. Because the deer are here because our states, our laws are good. But, I don't know. I don't know what we do, but we got to figure something out because, I got a 6-year-old son in here who loves to go hunting with me. And I don't know what it's going to be like when he's my age. I don't.
You won't find a whole lot of 200-inch deer. There are 200-inch deer in Kentucky, obviously. There's quite a few, probably. Look at the Booner registration. It's easy to break down in every state. Look at the Pope and Young, everything that gets turned in. We all know that is not accurate. Things don't get turned in like it should.
Right.
But there should be a lot more than what there is.
Yeah.
And if there are, I don't know. I don't know the right answer either. I rack my brain about the same thing and what we can do and how we really stand up and have a voice to say something about it. But what really do you do? That might be something we need to look into. Somebody on the podcast to maybe give us some good advice on what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because there are organizations, but they're limited by money, just like everybody else. I mean, it costs money to go out and try to fight these fights. It's not cheap to do it. Somebody's got to take the day off of work, right? That you gotta, there's money right there. You got to pay money to be able to get into these places and have a talk, and you're up against people who are, you're up against Farm Bureau. I don't know how much money you guys got, but I'm here to tell you, Farm Bureau's got more. You're not gonna beat them. You're up against all these car insurance companies. Raven Crossbows. I'm telling you, I know for a fact Raven Crossbows has dumped millions of dollars into lobbyists here in the state of Iowa. Millions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do I compete with that? Right? There's a question.
And I think people, real quick, I don't mean to kind of interrupt in this, but I think people kind of might get scared to jump into this. Like, we need to get more political. And I think some people also think, well, I don't want to get too political. I just want to do my thing. And they just want to say they want to make change, but they don't honestly freaking do anything about it. I know there's one thing that Sean and I have been talking about, how we're going to try and help create a voice and stuff like that. I mean, we don't want to announce that part just yet because that's still in the working phase here. But I know one thing, we're tired of seeing how things are run. We're tired of basically here in the state of Michigan. I know it's kind of all over the place. So all us as hunters, we're just yelling at a wall, and as the wall is basically the government for your state, and they just never listen. You can stare till it turns a different shade of color, unless you paint it, it's never going to change. I mean, that was a weird analogy. I don't know why I went in that direction. But basically, you
makes sense.
You're just never. You could yell and keep telling, I want this to change. We need this to change, until you're blue in the face, and they won't listen to you. They're going to think, because they have all the degrees, they have all this money, that they are right and you are wrong, and they're going to look you like you're a lesser person. But it's like, we're hunters. We see this thing day in and day out, and you guys aren't taking what we have to say to somewhat of a heart. Yeah. And I think a lot of us now are getting tired of it. And I know Sean and I are getting tired of it. I know Dan, part of it in here as well, we're getting tired of it. We want to find ways to get back. And I think there's ways that we can find it. We just need to actually put our foot down and actually start doing it.
And it's a resource, right? I mean, like the deer, the hunting in every state is a resource, the state wants more money. Okay, cool. I don't know about you guys, but if I get better hunting, I'm okay paying $20 more per tag. I'm okay with that. Like, that's fine. Charge me $20 more per tag if that means that my state has better hunting. I'm cool with it.
How much is a tag there in Iowa, and how much is a tag there in Kentucky there, Don?
Go ahead.
Resident or non-resident?
Just as a resident for you, right there for you in your state.
I'd have to look it up. I do what you call I do a sportsman's license every year. I think it's like $95 a year, and that's my license for everything through the whole year. That's for everything. Other than like my I think it would be like a duck stamp. If I go duck or goose hunting, I have to buy that federal stamp separately. But other than that, that's every tag for everything.
Todd, how much is there up there in Iowa?
So you have to buy a hunting license, and like you get they call it like a license and habitat thing. And I believe that is right around $30 some. And then and then after that you have to buy your tags. And so your bow tag is $32. Your first doe tag is $32. After that, the doe tags are dropped to $15 a piece. And then when it comes to like buying your gun tag, it's another $32. So the only time it gets cheaper is when like a landowner. So a landowner tag's like $2, but I mean, it's not cheap. I mean, so typically I will go and I'll spend like $100, and that will buy me my bow license, my actual licensing license. And then I typically get a doe tag or two. And then that's at the initial. And then I never buy all my licenses at one time. I'll always go back and buy like my muzzleloader or so in Iowa, you can use a landowner tag in any season. But so I'll always wait. Like if I was happen to kill a buck, on October 1st, well, I'd probably buy a landowner buck or bow tag because I have all of November and October yet. So it's not cheap. I mean, it's not necessarily cheap by any means, but I would pay double. I mean, the hunting here is really good. I would pay double. I'm okay with that. I mean, really, my bow was $1,400. What's $200 for a license? In the grand scheme of things, if it's going to make things better.
Yeah, you got a point there. And
but go ahead.
That $95 for the complete hunting license for the year, other than I think, like I said, the federal duck stamp that you have to have for waterfowl, you have to buy that separate. But my WMA license, like my Peabody permit and not private, but you would call it public land hunting, your WMAs and stuff. That's another, I think it's $15. You have to add that too. So just say $115, $120 a year for everything, basically. Yeah. And
see, the cool thing, or the thing about it is, I can say that, I'm okay with paying more money, but it's because I care about the resource, right? You get the guy, and no offense to this guy, but you get the guy who's okay going out there for 2 days a season with a shotgun in his hand and blasting away. And I am not knocking that guy. He is legally hunting, and that's okay. It's not my style. I'm not down with it. But he doesn't want to pay more because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about it as much as I do. We don't buy beef in my household. We only eat deer. That's it. Other than chicken or stuff like that. But we don't buy any red meat here. I have freezers full of it. That's what we eat. And some people just aren't like that, right? So
yeah, that's good. That's great too.
So that's but the problem is so like I can say, yeah, I want to go fight for this, but then there's the 50 other hunters next to me that are like, I don't care about it as much as you do.
Yeah.
But
buy the 1 or 2 tags, and go out, go set, just do how they do, just shoot a doe or 2 here and there, and they're happy and their family's happy, and that's what they want to do. So why would you take away from them, Yeah.
And I don't want to take away from them because guys.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I just want them to understand, like, this is a resource that can go away.
Well, I think that's where we need to classify seasons. Like, I know, like here in Kentucky, our bow season starts really early. Like, I think that this year, I think it's actually a little later. It's like September 7th, I think it starts, but it goes to mid-January. So the bow hunter has the advantage. But does the bow hunter ever have the advantage? No, because if you look, just take a look at all the different states, and you'll see the number of deer killed, and it'll show you month by month the number of deer killed. And in November, 2 weeks in November, there's I don't know the number, but let's just say 80,000 deer killed in 2 weeks. Well, you know what 2 weeks that is. I mean. The gun season, right in the middle, right in prime rut. They put the gun season in for 2 weeks in November here in Kentucky. And a lot of people come from everywhere, and they pay big money, and they come here and they hunt, and they have a good time. And I'm not taking nothing away from them, but I don't know how you justify it. I mean, the bow hunter does have the longer season, but they don't have the advantage in any way at all.
Yeah. And like for us, like you can't so our bow season runs from October 1st, and it runs through the first Friday in December, because the first Saturday in December is when our first shotgun season opens. Once that happens, you can't use a bow during shotgun season. We go So the first shotgun season, there's only 2 shotgun seasons. The first one runs 5 days. So it runs from a Saturday through a Wednesday, and then it turns off for 2 days. And then that next Saturday, the second shotgun season opens, and it runs from Saturday to the following Sunday. So there's 2 shotgun seasons totaling a total of 13 days. And then after that, typically our late muzzleloader will start up that following Monday, and that will open up usually around December 19th, 18th, 20-ish range, somewhere in there. And it always runs through January 10th, and that's it. Here's the kicker about Iowa and people like, I'm going to say people like myself, but I'm not anybody. I'm not anybody special at all, but just it's my line of thinking, right? Like I like to hunt. I like to chase mature bucks. That's just my style, right? But so there's people like myself who don't really enjoy this. And so Iowa has what's called party hunting. So I can buy a shotgun tag, and let's say I got 3 buddies. Okay. I can buy a shotgun buck tag, and my other buddy who is down the ridge can shoot a buck and tag it with my tag. And that's totally legal.
Wow.
So what
really?
So what happens is you get these big groups. Party hunting is a big thing. It's an Iowa tradition. And
that's called deer drive, right?
Yeah. So what they'll do is I know some big parties is they'll get 15, 25 guys together, and they'll have posters and pushers, and they'll all throw their tags in a big pot, and they don't care whose tag they use. They'll shoot a buck and they'll just put a tag on it. You know, I mean, and so to me, I don't agree with that, right? Like, I feel like you should, like, if you shoot the animal, you should have to tag it. It should be your tag, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's how it is here.
In theory, I could take, Don, you could draw you could get a doe shotgun tag, and you could come sit in the blind with me, and I could get a shotgun buck tag, and you could shoot that buck, and we could tag it. You could take it home, legal beagle. You can't get in any trouble. It's your deer.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I mean, cool, but that's really wild too. I mean,
it is until it's happening on the farm next to the one that you're hunting, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And like I said, it's an Iowa tradition, and it is a rich tradition. So apparently, 50 years ago, if you saw a deer, you were a big deal in Iowa. They didn't have them here way back then. It's something, I don't know exactly what changed, but something changed, and then the DNR got smart, and now we're at where we're at. But even now, Iowa doesn't have that many deer. If you look at the number of deer, say in the state of Michigan compared to the state of Iowa, it's probably 2 to 1. Right. Iowa just doesn't have that many deer. We don't have that many people either. But like I said, we're only 6 to 8% trees in the entire state. We also have, I believe we have the second lowest amount of public hunting ground. So that's why when I made that comment about, I don't really want all these people because it's harder enough to find ground. Well, that's because in my state, there's not very much public hunting ground, So, it's, all these debates. So we talk about this a lot. I'm part of this group. It's iowawhitetail.com. It's a hunting forum. It's a lot to do with Iowa whitetails, and it's really great. But, we talk about a lot of political stuff on there. And whenever a new bill comes up, it gets talked about. You'll see people, we're writing into our Congress people, we're sending letters. We're trying to make a change, but we're a real small demographic, right? And that's where we struggle. And the other thing about it is my opinion might be different. Like you just said, and it's not a knock on you, but you just said, oh, well, that's cool. The party hunting thing is cool. Sure. I understand why you think that.
But not cool too. Yeah.
But not cool too. That's right. Yeah. When you're hunting a buck and Billy Joe, who's got a red flannel on and a giant cigarette hanging out of his mouth, shoots a 197-inch deer out of a smooth bore 870 that he just shot the day before, hey man, you shot it legally. I'm happy that you shot that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, shit, man, I've had that deer on trail camera and I've been hunting him and I was close and all this happened. And then you shot him because somebody pushed him out and you used your brother's tag.
Yeah, that's
you know. I mean,
yeah.
But once again, I'm not going to knock that guy because he still did it legally, right?
I'm definitely going to talk trash, but yeah, I would be mad. Yeah. But
it happens. It happens every year. There's nothing you can do. You know, I mean, deer don't know fence lines, right? You know, no. Some of the and the other thing about that is I don't own the deer. You know, I don't any deer that walks on our farm. I don't own that deer. I mean, sometimes they're like kids, right? Because we got to feed them. But you know, we don't own them. And if the neighbor shoots them, you know, man, that I would have liked to have shot them. But hey, man, good for you. You know, I'm glad you shot them. And there'll always be another one. You know, there's a lot of hate in the hunting industry right now too, in the hunting world. And
man, it's that's probably the worst thing in my opinion is how you did something wrong or she did something wrong or you're not doing it right or the whole hunting industry, I feel like right now is all about, I don't know. I feel like there's like certain big names that are really popular and everyone focuses on them and everyone else tries to be like them. And I feel like, oh, if you're not doing this or if you're not doing that, or like me, for example, I do not kill the biggest buck in the woods. Would I like to? Absolutely. But if a 135-inch deer comes past me, it's getting an arrow. And people are like, oh, Don, you don't have a tag now. Well, guess what? I do, because I'll go to Indiana if I still want to hunt. I'll go to Tennessee if I still want to hunt. I can get the tags. I can get a Fort Knox tag in Kentucky and go hunt. A separate Kentucky tag in Fort Knox. Like, a lot of people just think if you do this, you're wrong. If you do that, you're wrong. Man, I'm telling you right now, if you're a bow hunter and you're letting 140-inch deer continuously walk on, dang, see, I'm saying the wrong thing again. This is controversial.
I love controversy.
Yeah, trust me, I was going to go down this rabbit hole tonight. So
I'm going to tell you right now, if 135-inch deer comes in front of me in September, he's getting an arrow, buddy. He's getting an arrow. And people are going to be like, oh, that was dumb. You should have waited. I don't have to wait. You know why? Because if I still want to hunt, I'll go to Indiana and buy a tag. I'll go to Tennessee. I'll go to Fort Knox. I'm shooting a deer I'm happy about shooting with my bow.
That's the part that matters right there. You know,
I don't have huge deer. I have good deer for me. And I have more deer than this. I just set up just where I set up. I have more. But this is
You're
shoot
proud of what you've done.
Shooting.
Yeah.
With my bow.
Yeah. I mean, I totally, I respect the hell out of that, but it's different, right? So 135-inch deer for me, I'm going to take a picture of them and I'm going to send my buddy a video of them or my wife, and I'm going to let them walk. But here's the deal there's big deer in Iowa and there's a lot of them.
Huge.
And you know, and the opportunity to shoot a deer larger is going to present itself. You know, right. Have I killed a ton of big bucks? No, I haven't. I mean, I've killed 3 deer over 170. My biggest deer is 178 5/8. You know, I've had some opportunities. You know, at like a deer that looks like that right there.
Man.
That's that 105-inch side. But you know, I mean, like I wounded that deer. I killed him the next year. He went 173. He went from 205 to 1. Yeah. You know, but you know, it's different, but here's the deal. You know, like my wife wants to get into hunting, you know, she has a bow, she's killed the doe before. And she's like, you know, she had an opportunity at a really big deer one time, kind of just, you know, as hunting does, she didn't really understand it a whole lot that, hey, it's really hard to get one killed. It's really, really hard.
It is.
You know,
with a bow, it's tough.
And things just happen. Things just happen. You know, and I just told her, I was like, you know, whatever walks past you, just shoot it. Like, you got to earn your stripes. It's okay. And she's like,
knock the monkey off your back or whatever it is.
Yeah. But, you know, but she got.
Get the monkey off your back and then you're good to go.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, she gets caught up in but you always preach mature. Well, yeah, but I have 15 deer on my wall, and I've been hunting I've been bow hunting for, 28 years. Like, I'm in a different stage in my life. I'm in a different stage in my hunting career, if you want to call it that, and I don't knock anybody for what they shoot. Now, the things that bother me about what people shoot is when I hate the saying, like, you can't eat the horns. Cool. Then why'd you shoot a buck? Like, to me, I understand if it's legal, but the part that bothers me is, most state, like, you look at like a state like Michigan. Michigan has an enormous amount of deer in it, and they have an enormous amount of does. But yet most of the hunters there, they'll all shoot small bucks, and they'll be like, I don't know how big it was in that bowl of chili and stuff like that. Well, I don't understand why you just don't shoot a doe. I don't care. It's totally up to you what you shoot. It's just like, to me, I just always go, why? Clearly, if you're going to cut the horns off and throw it in some shed and it's going to get 75 inches of dust on it, and your kids are going to have to throw it away when you die, why did you even shoot it then? Did you even care enough to shoot it? Like, I respect the animal. I want to see the animal get old, as old as they can. I shot a 9.5-year-old buck one time, and just a cool animal. I mean, he's my smallest deer on the wall. He went 133 inches. But he's 9.5 years old. The taxidermist, he had a 8.5-inch nose, which apparently is like an unheard of size nose, giant head on, but that wasn't about the size. That was about the age. To me, people don't respect the animal anymore. People don't respect anything anymore, but, and like I said, I want people to enjoy this sport the same way I enjoy it. They don't have to do it the same way I do it, but, be proud of your kills, whatever it is, be proud of it. But if you're trying to justify it, you probably didn't pull the trigger on the right animal, right? Be proud of if you're shooting that animal, be proud of it. Post that fork horn, and say, I'm damn proud of this deer. Don't post that fork horn and be like, well, can't eat the horns. Cool. Shoot a doe,
right,
brother.
Brett, what rabbit hole were you talking about, man?
Oh, man, I don't know if we want to go down with me right now.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Well, for real quick, though, Todd, what you just said there was perfect, because last season I was hunting. I had 4 giant deer that I was after. I had this one buck I called Geronimo. I estimated him to maybe be around the 160 plus on the antler size. And that was just off the photos, but he was just mass. He was only a 9-pointer. I say only a 9-pointer, but he was just a typical, he was just looked like a picturesque of a deer, man. And I just loved him. My wife named him Geronimo. I was like, all right, that's what we're calling him. And then all of a sudden, October 1st, all the way through the end of October, I couldn't find one of those shooter bucks that I was after. I kept seeing a bunch of smaller bucks. I was like, all right, let them go. I just want to see what they can do. When I say smaller, there may be a small, tight basket 8-pointer. All of a sudden, I can't remember the date I shot him. It was a 8-pointer, maybe scored 80 if you want to. He just barely went outside his ears. Not really tall, but he was kind of wide. But I don't know what it was. I was sitting in my stand, and I see him coming around this cornfield spot, and my heart was just like, I'd never seen a deer before, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited. And which a real funny part of that story was, I was sitting this way, the way he came, and then all of a sudden I had to grab my bow, and obviously he's moving quick. It's getting ready to be the rut. But my foot, as I'm trying to turn my seat, my right foot got caught. So I'm getting a cramp in my right hip. And I'm like, this hurts like crap, man. As I'm drawing back and I shoot him, he ran, died about 50 yards away. But like you said, Todd, the people that say you can't eat the antlers, like I said, he was nothing major, but I don't know what it was about this deer, but he got my heart beating. And I was like, I want this deer. And I was just, when I shot him, like I said, he's going to be a year in PM mount. He's not going to be a wall mount, like shoulder mount, anything like that. But I was damn proud of that buck. I don't know why, but it was just something about him. And then when I texted my dad, called him, it's like, hey, I just got a buck. And when he came down there, it's always usually just me and him for the first time. Yeah. The sheer excitement that him and I get when he gets deer or I get a deer, we look at each other and we're like, I'm more happy for you that you got a deer than you don't get a deer. So it's kind of fun of how the hunting is, and just being, like you said, be proud of what you shot. And if you can back it up and you don't care what the antler size is, obviously I wanted one of the other bucks. I was still after him, never saw him. But that deer, I don't know what it was. We just got my heartbeat going, and I was just really happy with him.
Yeah, and that's important, right? It's just about being proud of what you're shooting. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are taking a life. I mean, it is a life, and life is precious, right? And I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I mean, it's the truth, though. And you should be proud of what you're shooting. You should be excited about it. I mean, yeah, I only try to shoot bigger deer now, but I get super excited when I shoot does. I really like shooting does is one of my favorite things in this world to do. But I mean, especially because Iowa late season, we typically can get a lot of deer on a food plot, and you can there's nights you can go out there and you shoot 8 does in one night. And that's such a lot of fun, and like I said, we eat it and we enjoy it and we have a good time, and I always call my wife, and then I call my dad, and I call my buddy and I, we help, we're the only people we call to come track, and he helps me track, I help him track. We always have what we call booner beers, whether it's a booner or not, but we still have booner beers. And that's the camaraderie portion of it. But he's always, dude, every deer I've ever shot, and my buddy shoots giants. I mean, like his deer this year was like 208. And like in the last 4 years, he shot 3 deer at 200 inches or better. He shoots giants, but every deer I shot, he's like, dude, just excited, we're hugging, we're high-fiving, we're slapping chests, we're having a good time. And that's what it's about to me. I wish people would be a little bit more proud. And that's what I was talking about earlier with what social media has done to us as a hunting society, and
it's bad.
Yeah. And even the people that post what I would call a smaller animal, they always say, well, I know he's not the biggest, but what do you mean, dude? Did he get your
be proud?
Did he get your heart pumping? Afterwards you sit there and shake in your tree stand? Dude, that's what it's about. I just got chills talking about shaking, but
that's the thing, that people are worried to death about what everyone else is going to think. Like they might feel the highest of the highest, and they're going to kill this animal, and they're going to be happy. And then after all that wears down, they're going to be like, oh man, he's not very big, or who cares what those other people think? I never understood that about people. I understand kind of what they think, because I have shot a couple deer where I'm like, oh, I thought he was a little bit bigger than this, but there's not once I did not put my bow on that deer and take a selfie, or my fiance take the selfie with me and my bow and my deer. Period.
Yep.
I mean, it's happening. It's fun. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, to be honest with you, I wish a lot of our social media stuff could, I don't necessarily go away, but just change maybe. And I don't know how it would ever change now, but, like nobody, everybody thinks that they're cool nowadays, right? Like, let here, what the definition of cool is? Because I don't have any idea what cool is, but everybody needs to be cool online. And, everybody's, like, yeah, I shoot a brand new bow, and, I wear Sitka camouflage, and I own nice things, but I don't have to like take fancy pictures in my Sitka camouflage so I look cool. Like, I don't care what you wear. You can go buy shit from Walmart. Look at Gene Wenzel, who used to shoot big giant bucks in a plaid shirt. Who cares?
Cody DeQuisto still does it, man.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, that guy shoots giants. So
Real
yeah,
quick,
I don't know how you guys on this podcast to go. But.
Oh, trust me. There's real quick though, Todd. The definition of cool is being an Oregon Ducks fan, not a Michigan Wolverines fan. That is the definition of cool. I'll pull it up on dictionary too.
Is that right? Is that right?
we just went to a St. Louis game. I just took my son to a St. Louis Cardinals game, and when was that? Saturday? Yeah, this couple days ago. It was really fun.
Yeah,
but St. Louis is that's definitely a town you do not want to get turned around backwards in. You need to make sure you know where you're going if you're in St. Louis.
Very similar to Detroit.
Detroit probably the same way. It's you want to make sure you know where you're going.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, it's going to be time to get ready to wrap up for the show tonight. Todd, was there any lasting things that you wanted to say before you let you go, and then we'll move on to Don?
No.
Yeah. No. Hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I guess if anybody gets anything from this podcast, just, man, be happy to be a hunter, dude. Enjoy it, love it, and really just cherish those moments out there, because I'm in this weird kick in my life where I'm turning 40 next month, so I feel like the world's coming to an end for me. And I'm getting old and stuff. And, I'm really just trying to like make memories and, make those memories outdoors and enjoy it. And hey, man, if you want to shoot a spike and you're going to be super stoked, post it on my wall and tell me how stoked you are. Man, I'm going to give you the biggest internet high five in the world, but just be proud of what you're doing out there and, keep fighting the good fight. Go blue.
This I swear.
I was going to tell you some stories about like my deer season, but we got off on some rants on this one, so that's okay.
We'll make sure to have you back on and we'll talk about those stories.
Yeah, I had my bow buck was a pretty wild story. But yeah, some other time.
All right, Todd, we'll let you go for the night. Thank you again
for
on the show.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah. Dan, keep fighting the good fight, buddy.
See you, Todd.
Don. Dan. I'm just gonna name you Dan.
That's fine.
Dan.
Talk to you later, Todd.
Good talk, guys.
All right, Don. Real quick though, we never got an introduction about you, so can you give us an introduction and an outro for you?
Yeah, I don't really know what that means.
Give us a little background about you, real quick.
Okay. Born and raised Kentucky. Started hunting when I was around 8 years old. Lived in South Florida for 5 years. Did some hunting down there as well. Back to Kentucky. Have an 11-year-old. Have a fiance. And I like to kill deer with my Matthews bow.
There we go. What type of Matthews you got?
Oh, yeah.
What type of Matthews bow?
I'm shooting the B3X33 still. I have not upgraded.
I'm getting the Phase 4 here soon, as soon as I get all the stuff sent to my archery shop.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to wait and see what happens with this new bow that's out right now. And I think I might. I usually trade in every 2 years, but I'm waiting. I love my bow. I've killed great deer with it, so.
Have you tried the lift yet?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What are your thoughts about it? And I'll give you my thoughts about it.
The lift, it's just like everyone kind of says, it has a little bit of a rough draw cycle, but it is light as a feather. It's 10 times lighter than my V3X is.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait and see what happens. I'm not in no rush to get it.
Yeah, I went out there and shot it, and I was like, oh, it's light.
Yeah,
then I started drawing it back, and as soon as I got close to that back wall, you just felt that resistance of it wanting to pull you forward, and you had to fight it to get it back in there.
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. No, I don't like this bow. Sucks, man. I don't want this.
Right.
But
I do love the. I'm not a Hoyt guy at all, but I do love that RX-8. I've shot it. I'm not going to Hoyt by any means, but that's a good bow too.
Dan, I think, is getting that bow or a new Hoyt. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to ask him again because Hoyt does weird things with their bows. They number it all weird, and it's like, just give it a single plural freaking name so everyone can kind of have an idea what you moved on from the next one. RX2, RX4. Anyways, that's another rabbit hole. But anyways, Don, I look forward to, we have you coming up on a show, though, for Kentucky. Is that correct?
Yeah, the 22nd.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
So
it'll be cool.
I'm looking forward to that. Don, thank you for wanting to come on the show tonight. I think we had a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for giving us a quick little snippet into what it's like to hunt Kentucky.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lot more coming towards you.
Well, we look forward to talking to you later, brother.
All right. See y'all.
See ya. Hey, Sean.
Wow.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Oh, man. What's your idea?
So we kind of had like a quick, it was kind of like Iowa came, we had Todd on. He's from Iowa. We had Don come on. He's from Kentucky. And we started, wow, we got some debate stuff going here. Let's talk about this. You know what I thought of? I thought, let's do this. Once in a while. Well, actually, no. Yes. We should have a debate versus debate, a state versus state. I know we kind of were like, and it kind of happened. You kind of put that little egg in my brain. I was like, I like that idea. And then this kind of happened tonight. And then I was like, oh, Sean, this is freaking awesome. This dude, Sean knows what he's talking about. Let's make this a thing. Let's see if we can.
I think what we need to do is we need to leave it up to the viewers and our people that are watching. What do they want? Do they think that we need to have a debate? What questions do they want us to ask? Who do they want as a debate? Do they want Texas versus Iowa? California versus New Buffalo? I mean, what states are? Yeah. Canada versus America? I mean.
So let's say this then. For the viewer, for the audience listener at home, send us in who you think we should do state for state and who should be representing those states. And we will do our best to make sure if we can get them on the show. Sean, that is a great idea. Man, Sean just comes up with great ideas around here. I mean, heck, there's sometimes we'll be up a couple of nights, 2 o'clock in the morning, just bam, that's an idea. I like that idea. I like that idea. Sean first starts off with the idea, and then I kind of put some little Brett sprinkles in there, and then we kind of growed it into a nice ice cream cone. And
yeah.
But like Sean said, I know there's a couple rabbit holes I said I want to go down, but I wrote them down. Tonight was a long show. We'll get into it on another show. A couple real quick things though. Sean announced it. We have our own website. We monitor this thing. We're constantly figuring out how we can always upgrade the website, but it is up and running. Check it out at whitetailadvantage.com. I know Sean's going to be popping up here on the screen. It is also on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Go Wild, and Threads. X, honestly, I'm thinking about getting rid of X because Twitter X is just, I don't know. I'm not liking it anymore. Threads, I'm kind of liking a little bit more. Anyways, with that also being said, Sean, I know that we have talked about you kind of being, you're here and you're not here at the same time. Only because when, I think it was like episode 15, maybe, that you came on for partway through the show, then you came on for a full show, and then you left. But you didn't leave for no bad reason. You left for a good reason because I know you had some fire stuff come up. And, you know, you had, I don't know how much you want to get into that, but I know you had to leave to go do some outside professional work, basically.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into what your role is here at Whitetail Advantage, what your schedule is going to be looking like, or do you want us to let's talk about behind closed doors still?
Well, my job is pretty much, I mean, when I'm a strictly volunteer firefighter. I volunteer my time. I don't get paid. I serve my community. I'm also a correctional officer. That's my full-time job. I pretty much am big into my community, but I'm pretty much with Whitetail Advantage, but I'm part of in the background, part online, live with you guys. With Whitetail Advantage, I try my best to get on live, but I try to run all the communications as best as I can to make you, Brett, run good.
I like that. So, Sean, let's say this, when can people expect you to be back on a full-time basis? Because I know here on Whitetail Advantage this month, we kind of were talking about switching up the schedule of, instead of doing live shows Monday through Thursday, we're now in the start of May, because we already have guests lined up in Thursday. We're not just going to tell them, sorry, no, we're not going to do it. No, we're going to stick with our word. That's what we do here. Starting in May, we are going to be switching to a different schedule of live shows, still same time, but on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We are getting rid of our Thursday slot.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, I know you had some testing stuff coming up in May. When can people expect you to be back on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays live shows?
Well, at this time,
is that undetermined?
It's undetermined right now. Between the Whitetail Advantage and the members, we'll have meetings about it, and the members will know about it. And once you guys know, the viewers will know about it.
And I'm looking forward to that. It's like we're like in a little honey hole just waiting. Oh, Sean coming. But I know Sean was, I think there was another rabbit hole I want to go down, but like I said, long show tonight. Was there any other rabbit hole that you could think of that we should have gone down?
I think the viewers need to know that Whitetail Advantage, just because we are a podcast, there's a lot more to us than just podcasting, talking about deer, everything. We, like I said in the beginning, we have big things coming to you as the viewers. We want to get you guys the best show that you've ever seen. And again, we're open. On this show, we are very open to everything. It doesn't matter if it's politics. You can agree with it or disagree. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's opinions. At the end of the day, these are the opinions, what other people have thought about, think about, say about. And at Whitetail Advantage, all we care about is the hunting and getting to know other people and getting out there. And I mean, being in these meetings with the owners and all that stuff, and being part of Whitetail Advantage, I'm telling you, viewers, there's big things coming to us. It's not just podcasts. There's big things coming. We just can't reveal it yet.
That is true. And like you said, we're going to be open and honest. We're going to tell you the truth. Whether you like it, you don't like it. We don't care if we hurt people's opinion. We don't care if we hurt people's feelings, because at the end of the day, we're going to tell you like how we see it. Sorry. We want to be open and honest with this type of stuff. Hunting is dying. And people nowadays, they get scared of this cancel culture crap. And, You see, we kind of talked about social media and people getting scared of posting their pictures of their deer and stuff like that. And I'm gonna, like I said, this was the type of rabbit hole that I wanted to go down to because I was kind of getting tired of it all. But I'm gonna say this little quick snippet of it, and we can save this we'll put a pin in it for another time. But like we said, here at Whitetail Advantage, if you are, say you shoot a deer or whatever, and you don't know if another page is gonna support it, or you're scared to post it on your own thing, send it to us. We'll post it on our page, and if you want us to tag you in it, we can. If you don't, we won't. It's up to you. You let us know what you want us to do. Again, at the end of the day, Whitetail Advantage is for you. We started this, but it's your show. It's for you. It's the people's show. If say you want us to tag you in that post that you shot that deer and you're proud of that deer, and people start bashing you, you let us know that they are sending you about that photo. Or if we see it and we find out about it, they have to go through us before they have to get to you. That is ridiculous. And how people are so self-centered they think they know what's right in hunting, and they think they know everything about hunting. We're trying to help bring what hunting is, and I'm getting tired of it, of seeing this cancel culture crap and people bashing on hunters, and we're getting tired of it, and that's why we started this. So at the end of the day, we are here for you. This is your show.
I agree 100%. I know you didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, but we just did.
I know.
At the end of the day,
there's more to it that I want to get into.
I mean, Brett, at the end of the day, Whitetail Advantage is not going down without a fight. We will stay here. We will be the last fighting podcast. We will be the last fighting Whitetail Advantage.
That is cool.
There's millions of companies out there, everything, but we're gonna show our viewers why Whitetail Advantage is Whitetail Advantage.
That is correct. And with that being said, though, let's have a little funny moment of, let's say our goodbyes and we gotta say all the, like we said, we break the norm here at Whitetail Advantage. We're doing things differently. You see all these other shows go down this path, and you see, oh, that's what they're doing, so I gotta do what they're doing. No, we're going another way. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to be different. And that's what is going to be fun about it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, let's say this. Let's say our normal spiel. If you do want to be a guest on our show and represent your state, message us on our social media platforms, or you can text me at my personal phone number, 269-993-3653. Again, this is the Electron Campfire. We get together on this Monday through Thursday for the time being till May. And thank you all for listening to the show. You can find our previous shows on YouTube, Facebook. X might be getting deleted, not going to lie. But you can also find us on our podcast platforms. But with that being said, that tired me wanting to say that boring spiel of blah. But let's have a good night. Sean, kick out the music video and let's end the night. No, don't worry, Sean. We'll just sit here and wait for you to hit the button. And
thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.